to administration of justice?
Well, thank you, Sandra. You see, here we speak as preachers. You know me, I'm a preacher. I can tell you, if you don't have Jesus Christ, you have no life within you. You will die and that will be the end. But if you have him, you have life. But I can't get a rope and put it in your neck and say, you must receive Jesus now or you die. So the public participation in issues to do with administration of justice required their voluntariness to be able to stand out, to be able to stand for the truth, to be determined to demand this service, not as a favor, but as a right. So our approach is, can we have all Ugandans know that, for example, if you go to court, court is supposed to hear your case quickly, finish it. If you want to appeal, you can appeal. Now, once they know that, nobody will ask them, bring money so that we can hear your case first. People will refuse because they know. If you go to police, we have told you police bond is free, and the officer asks you for money. Now, if all Ugandans know that, and they say, no, I am not going to pay even 1 shilling, court police is free, I have brought my people to stand for me, their identification is here, the letter from LSU1, their national IDs are here, if you don't release me, I am going to the state attorney. So you go to the state attorney and say, police have refused to give me police bond, and yet it is over 48 hours. What do I do? So if people can know these different locations and places where to go, they will be in a position to participate by demanding justice, demanding services as a right. That is our approach. Mm-hmm. So like we were sharing about somebody has lost a father in a home. You are the widow. You are married properly according to the laws of Uganda. And there is no will maybe, or there is a will, but there are challenges. You know, so many things happen. The brothers desert you, those you thought were uncles of your children, they want to throw you out of the house. Many, as people are watching, some of them have been thrown out. They are watching from cousins' places, but they had homes, they had wonderful places. The relatives used to, upload them. You are our wife. Then the man dies, everything collapses. So we are talking about the office of the Administrator General, and we are talking about the court. Such a widow does not need to seek permission from anybody, but go straight to court and ask court, I want to be given powers to take charge of the estate of my late husband.
Now that we're talking in terms of a widow. Now, for example, if it is a family whereby maybe your parents, you're talking about a father, maybe your father didn't leave a will behind.
Yes.
What happens when it comes to division of assets? It's the children, they're complaining amongst themselves. In case it's not a widow.
Oh, of course you are right, but we first have to tick, because there is a priority according to law, that if a man dies or a woman dies and is married, one, if there is a surviving spouse, he takes or she takes precedence over the children. So that's why we started with the widow, because unless the widow is unwilling to take her position, then we come down to the children. So if there's no will and the widow is hesitant in taking up the powers, the children have to sit in a meeting and decide who, first of all, is going to be the administrator of the entire estate of the deceased father. So that's why if they are not in Kampala here, they can go to the chief administrative officer in their districts, because he represents the administrator general, and ask that as a family, we are here. We are choosing this one and this one, these two people, or these three people, or this one person, to get the powers to look after the properties of our late father. So once they agree, they will issue a certificate of no objection. Now that child or those children, they can be children with a mother, they can decide. It is their agreement, it's their family. So they apply to court. And after publishing it in the local newspaper for 14 days, there is no objection, They go back, they are given powers. Now, those powers do not mean they are the owners of the property. That's where we have chaos in Uganda. Sandra, when you get letters of administration, it is an office. You have to give accountability, by the way. In 6 months from the time you are given those powers, you have to write a report to the court.
You come and do a follow-up at the end of the day.
You write a report to the court, we call it an inventory, that this is what I received when you gave me the powers. I have given this land to Sekaja on this day. I have given, I've sold this part of land to pay school fees for this young child. Put your hands in the assets of the deceased. It is a criminal offense, you can be sent to prison. So this idea of you have lost the relative and you are busy commanding, is it as the head of the clan or head of the family in a particular way, and you say this one sell, this one, they will arrest you. So we are telling people, get the powers of court first, then you can be able, because we need you to be accountable to somebody. That's the point.
Still speaking about the issue of assets, division of assets.
Yes.
The legal marriages we talked about, later on finding out it was invalid, maybe because the institution they went to doesn't have a license or something.
Yes, I think that's
what
important.
happens? How do you help such cases?
Why don't we begin by talking about the real poison? Let us talk about the real marriages so that we can know. Let's put the things on the table in the light. Now, if you don't hear what we are going to say, probably you are not married. Now, one, we have 5 types of marriages in Uganda. The first one, this is the customary marriage. Customary marriage means if you want a lady to become your wife, you go to their home, their family. If they have a chiga, if they have a nyankole, you know what they will ask you. May I want 10 cows? May I want what? So if you can quantify the cows into money and say for every cow, 2 million. And they say we want 5 cows. You take the 10 million in an envelope, and once they are satisfied, they do what we call giveaway, right? Kuingira is giveaway. Now, once they conduct that function and hand over the lady to the man, at that level, that is a customary marriage. You go to the sub-county in that area, they give you a certificate of marriage for that customary marriage. So when you receive it, you take it to Uganda Registration Services Bureau, URSB. They have different branches. In Imbarara, at times they also go to Fort Portal, they have in Guru, we have them in Kampala here. You can ring us, you can Google, you can find this information everywhere. So that they register and enter your names on the government register of marriages, so that you are registered. So you can make a photocopy, they stamp and say, certified true copy. Everywhere you go and you wave it, you are a married woman. The only challenge is with that marriage, the man can have as many as he can afford to pay the families wherever he goes. So he can get one from northern Uganda, another from southwest, another from the east. But you go in knowing. But the second one is a church marriage. Having married customarily, you know, most of the church marriages we have are 2 marriages in one, because they first go to the parents, they do the quangular bit, the introduction, they even get letters, and they present them to the ministers. So when the ministers join them in this marriage, where you have to advertise for 21 days those announcements, the banns of marriage.
Yes, that's
yes, and if nobody is objecting, then you can marry the people within the next 6 months. Because if they have finished advertising 21 days, and you still there, you are not wedding people, after 6 months you have to do it again. You get the point? Now, secondly, that church must have a license from the Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. That license that allows them to wed, that license looks at the building, the place where the marriage is concluded. It must be licensed. They will ask for the plan, approved plan of that building. They will ask you for some fees. It takes about not more than, I think, 200,000. And then you get a license, Now you can wed people in that building, and that building means that building. If you go outside that building, that marriage is invalid unless you have got special permission from the minister. Like, you know, we are having these mass weddings in the different churches
and
in
also
Uganda.
Others at the beach.
At the beach. If you go to the beach, whether the minister is licensed or not, the fact that the beach is not a licensed place for marriage, that marriage is invalid. It does not exist. So you need, if you want to go to the beach, you go and enjoy yourselves and come to the building, they wed you there. Because if you just go to the beach, you need the minister to give you that permission specifically for that day between the hours of 8 to the hour of 6 to go and conduct a wedding there. Otherwise, you get your certificate, that thing is false, it does not exist in law. So,
the third marriage.
Let's finish this properly. Now, there are churches.
Yes.
Even the traditional churches, these long established churches, Anglican, Catholic, many of them actually had buildings that they had never licensed. The majority of them. But we talked to them, we wrote to them, and they have done a lot of good work. I think most of now the churches, Catholic churches and the Protestant churches, Anglican, they are licensed. But you must ask them. You must ask them before let them show you the license. Because what they used to do, they would go to Mukono Diocese, have that building, the church at the diocese, it is licensed. Then they would use the same book to go to all the churches under the diocese.
The other branches.
So you find all of those branches were not licensed places of what? Of celebration, for celebrating marriages. So those are not marriages.
Wow.
So each building has to be licensed. So once you are sure it is licensed, make sure this minister who has joined you takes that duplicate certificate to Uganda Registration Services Bureau. Why? If they don't make that return, even if you go to URSB with the copy of the certificate they give you, they will not enter you because they don't have proof that it came from a recognized church or institution that was given a license. So many of these churches are so slow in getting back the returns because you return, you pay some money to government, about 27,000 or something. You have to pay that money, about 30,000. So if you would tell them, please, can you make the return? They have to be made monthly, so that you go and finish that business, be registered on the register of marriages, get your certified copy. You can go and give to everyone that you are legally married. Those are 2. Now, 3, we have the Mohammedan marriages, if you are Muslim. Now, you go, they do it the Islamic way. I know the law allows the men to marry up to 4. If you are a 5th woman, you are not a wife, but you also are able to get a certificate. That's very crucial. Now, those are 3.
Yes,
now we have civil marriage. Civil marriage, you can go to URSB, Registrar of Marriages, and you do it there. They announce, put you now, they have a TV there. URSB has the TV. People see your photographs there.
For 21
Sandra
days.
And somebody, and they see every day. So once 21 days are over, nobody has objected. Certainly, they will be able to join you, and you get a certificate. You go with it clearly. Or you can go to the chief administrative officer who represents that office. You can also do it at the district, and you wed properly. 1 man, 1 wife, okay? Until you divorce or you die. Now, those are 4. The last one is for Indians or people who practice Hinduism. So there's the Hindu marriage. It is allowed in Uganda. They go around their fire 7 times, and that's their marriage. So you register it. So, in brief, recap: 1, customary marriage. If you are not married customarily, not visiting. You know people visit.
Yes.
You go to a church day, we went and visited. You can visit 10 times, use more money than the money that will be used for the real what?
The real function.
The real function. And you say we were visiting. Visiting for what? You just go and pay in full what they ask you, don't celebrate, go and get your certificate, your woman is safe.
No need to compromise.
No need to compromise. So, okay, that's one. Customary, church marriage, Mohammedan marriage, civil marriage, the Hindu marriage. If you have not had any of these, you are not one of the five. You are not married. You are just friends. You are at the same level with your house girl. And me, I want to tell people the truth. Because you can have a house girl. For you saw yourself along the street, maybe you studied together, you come together in the house, you begin buying properties, you are husband and wife in your own way. Police is not looking for you. You are above 18 years. He gets a housemaid who is 18, 19. As you understand, she becomes pregnant. You look for the responsible person, it is the one you call your husband. Then you can't go to court. You go to court, they say, but are you married? No. So there's no difference between you and this Jessica, who is your maid. And if the man is interested and he runs and she introduces this man of yours, you come out empty-handed almost. So I advise, yes, I advise if you are with such a person, when you buy cement for the house, keep the receipts. Because when the time comes for separation, there is no legal help. You will say, I am the one who bought these bags of cement. So if I'm going, we have to divide.
Well, let's keep it at that. Interestingly there. But of course, looking forward to having you next week on Monday at the same time. That is from 9 p.m. until 10, a full hour. Very educative, great information coming through. And of course, you'll be still seeing Ronald Sekaja coming through. He's a registrar, education and public affairs from the Judicial Service Commission. They were talking about judiciary and how the public is meant to participate when it comes to administration of justice here in our nation. It is such a great organization, helping the people there, bridging you to justice. My name is Sandra Kaundagaba. I had a wonderful time having you company this evening. And of course, I was sitting in for my TV manager, that is Jen Kasumba. And she'll be having more of this next week on Monday. So look out for it. And you'll be sending in those SMSs coming through. And you never know, you'll have a chance to call. Coming up, news updates coming your way at the top of the hour. Have a blessed evening. Thank you so much for your time.
God bless.
Bless you too.